just getting home from work. I stopped by Wingstop and had like a fat plate of their new wings. What's their new wings name? Sweet barbecue. It was so good. Before we get into this vlog's reading plans, I want to tell you guys about the books that I just checked out from the library today. On my shift, I got 4 different books. Some of these y'all are going to be very, very excited about. The first one I have already started reading. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I won't say too much about this just yet because I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in the reading plans for this video. But I also got the next Winnie the Pooh book called The House at Pooh Corner by A.A. Milne. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited because literally the second chapter of this book, Tigger comes over for breakfast. And that's exactly the vibe I need in my life right now. In which Tigger comes to the forest and has breakfast. I'm so excited. The last Winnie the Pooh book was so good to me. And I loved it. It was so wintry, but also it had like a spring vibe to it. I can't wait to read this one. I can't wait. Also kind of going off of the winter vibe still. The Girl Who Speaks Bear by Sophie Anderson. I am reading my autumn TBR, but I am also trying to get more books under my belt for winter so that when December rolls around, I have some really good winter book recommendations for you guys. And Sophie Anderson is kind of known in the middle grade sphere because of her Russian folklore retellings, which are so good. I read The House with Chicken Legs maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I loved it. It was so good. It was literally perfect for the time that I read it. I think I read it right after Thanksgiving or right before. It was kind of cold outside. It was like end of autumn, beginning of winter vibe. It was perfect. It was perfect. The description of food, the description of winter. Oh my God. So I can't wait to read this one. I doubt that Sophie Anderson will let me down when it comes to Russian folklore and folklore retellings. And by the way, The House with Chicken Legs is a Baba Yaga retelling. And if you're looking for a Baba Yaga retelling, I would highly recommend. It was so good. Yeah. And then last but not least, Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. I haven't really heard much about this one, honestly, especially not any real reviews, but the synopsis hooked me, and this is possibly a book that we're going to be reading in this vlog, this weekly reading vlog. Basically, the main character, Celine, what I'm getting from the back of the book, basically the main character, Celine, is going to this like witches boarding school, and on her way there she gets into a little bit of trouble with her magic. She uses her magic, but every time she uses her magic she loses her memory, and she ends up awakening like some spirit or something, awakening an ancient evil. Not sure if that means a spirit or a creature or what. It's sounding like it's gonna be enemies to lovers. That's what it's sounding like. And then the top says, "I knew you would come, my queen." I don't know, girl. That is a possibility for today's vlog, honestly. Tonight, I'm going to start 2 different books. Garlic and the Vampire, which I kind of already started, which y'all kind of saw in my last vlog. But, yeah, I've talked about that enough. I don't need to tell you again what it's about. And Ophi's Ghost, which is also a middle grade spooky things. I know that Ophi can see ghosts, and it's set in the early 1900s. So I'm really excited to see how much I enjoy this book. Yeah. Those are kind of the books that I am thinking about reading in this vlog. I am back home from all of my festivities for the day, and I have 2 books that I need to show you that I bought from the used bookstore, and I'm about to go make some nighttime tea and start reading my book for the night. I started reading Ophi's Ghost by Justina Ireland, and it's so good so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's very well written. We'll talk more about this after I make my nighttime tea. But from the bookstore, I got A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I talked about this in my autumn book recommendation video. I love this book so much. If you're looking for an autumnal October fantasy book to read, this is perfect. It has vampires in it. The main character is a woman that owns a tea shop that turns into a vampire den at night. And she kind of gets an unlikely group of characters together to go on this heist. It's so good. And this one came with art, but it was half price because it's used. So I love secondhand bookstores so much. It saves me so much money. I've already read this one. I try to read books from the library first and then buy them. So, yes. I didn't do that for this next one though. I need to reorganize my bookshelves. Let's not talk about it. Let Us Descend by Jasmine Ward. Shelby in the book club has talked about this book so much, and she said if you like James by Percival Everett, you should read this one. And I loved James. It was so good. I need to get back into my historical fiction bag, and so I decided I'm gonna go ahead and get this one since it's used and it's $14 for a hardcover. I was like, might as well. I'm very excited to read it. I've heard very good things about Jasmine Ward as an author, and I really want to get into her backlist. So yeah, let's go make some tea. I'm here to end off this vlog and also talk about Ophi's Ghost by Justina Ireland, which I started maybe yesterday. Ophi's Ghost, where do I start with this one? This one is a middle grade, first of all. It's a middle grade book about Ophelia, who is about 9 or 10 years old, and she can see ghosts. The first ghost that she ever saw was her dad, and her dad was basically waking her up in the middle of the night and telling her that she needs to get her mom and get out the house and go hide. And Ophi does it, and like minutes later, some white supremacists come to her house and burn it down. Those same white supremacists had just killed her dad that same day. So obviously when she saw her dad, that was a ghost, and it was the first ghost that she ever saw. And so because of that, her mom and her moved up north. Ophi and her mom move up north, and up north, Ophi ends up starting a new job. Instead of going to school, she works with her mom. So they work at this place called the Daffodil Manor, I'm pretty sure it is. That's basically a big house. If you know anything about plantations and the setup of plantations, where they work is basically a big house. And obviously there, Ophi sees a lot of ghosts. She is like kind of a maid for the owners, and she sees ghosts all the time. But this one ghost in particular is very angry and wants justice. I don't know why yet. I probably won't tell you why if I do find out, because it is probably going to be a spoiler. But all of the ghosts kind of sense that Ophi can see them. I also want to say that this book really makes me think about, I'm at work by the way, this book really makes me think about many sacrifices there were for us to have things like the right to vote, the right to equal education. Like, there are bodies behind rights. Like, don't take your rights for granted, because like people sacrifice their lives. Many people have sacrificed their lives. Keep that in mind during this next election cycle. It's really good so far. I feel like it's very easy to read and palatable, even though it is dealing with some dark topics, because it is dealing with like Jim Crow era, so it's dealing with some very, very dark topic and rough scenes, but it's written in a way that's very palatable and easy to kind of accept because it's written from the mind of a 9 or 10-year-old. It's written in a childlike way, if that makes sense. It's very, very good so far. I am really liking it. I plan to read a ton more today, like especially right now before work while drinking my tea. That's gonna be all for today's video though. I hope it was very cozy for you guys. You found something new to read and that kind of thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.